Our today's topic is philosophy of pragmatism in education. Pragmatism is a temper of mind and attitude. It is also a theory of the nature of ideas and truth. And finally, it is a theory about reality. William James. Now we come to the meaning of pragmatism. Etymologically, the word pragmatism is derived from a Greek word pragma, which means activity or the work done. Some others think that it has been derived from the Greek word pragmatikos, which means practicability or utility. Thus, according to this philosophy, great importance is laid upon practicability and utility of the work done. Pragmatists firmly hold that first the activity or experiment is done, and then on the basis of results, principles or ideas are derived. Hence, pragmatism is also known as experimentalism or consequentialism. It is called experimentalism because pragmatists believe experiments as the only criterion of truth. To them, truth, goodness and badness are all relative terms. Thus, these concepts are not predetermined or absolute. They are formed by man's own experiences. Further, pragmatists believe that truths are many and they are all which can be verified by experiments. They hold that whatever was true yesterday need not be the same today. Pragmatism is also called consequentialism because any human activity is evaluated in terms of its consequences or results. If the activity results in some utility, then it's true, otherwise not. In this sense, no truth is absolute and permanent. It is always changing from time to time, from place to place, and with circumstances. Thus, those ideas and values which are useful in one set of circumstances, times and places, and for a person need not prove to be the same in changed circumstances. Hence, pragmatism, unlike the idealists, do not believe in final, eternal, and absolute values of life. To them, only those values and ideals are true which results in some utility to mankind in a certain set of circumstances, places, and times. The above discussion clearly lays down that pragmatism is very intimately connected with human life and human welfare. It is why it is called a humanistic philosophy of life. In nutshell, we can say naturalism is naturocentric, idealism is psychocentric, and pragmatism is anthropocentric according to centers of reality and truth. Definition of pragmatism by James B. Pratt. He says, pragmatism offers us a theory of meaning, a theory of truth of knowledge, and a theory of reality. Pragmatism is essentially a humanistic philosophy maintaining that man creates his own values in the course of activity, that reality is still in the making and awaits its part of completion from the future, that to an uncertain able extent our truths are man-made products. This definition has been given to us by J.S. Ross. Action, destiny. William James has given his views about pragmatism as sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. We always live at the time we live and not at some other time, and only by extracting at each present time the full meaning of each present experience are we prepared for doing the same thing in the future. Intentional teaching is equal to danger of separating experience and school acquisition. This has been given by Dewey. It is more useful to speak of what one has experienced than to pretend to a knowledge that is entirely impersonal, an observation without an observer. In fact, there is no theory that is not a fragment carefully prepared of some autobiography. I don't pretend to be teaching you anything at all. I'll say nothing that you do not already know. These views have been shared by Paul Walray. Now we are coming to different forms of pragmatism. First form of pragmatism is humanistic pragmatism. According to this ideology, only those things or principles are true which fulfills the aspirations and objectives of human beings and cater to the welfare of mankind. In other words, that which satisfies the human nature is only true and real. Humanistic pragmatists believe whatever fulfills my purpose, satisfies my desire, develops my life is true. Second form of pragmatism is experimental. According to this ideology, that thing or principle is true which can be verified by experiments. Hence, according to experimental pragmatism, whatever can be experimentally verified is true or what is true. Third and the last form of pragmatism is biological. According to biological pragmatism, that power or capacity of a human being which is valuable and important, which enables him to adjust with the environment or which makes him able to change his environment according to his needs and requirements. There are certain principles of pragmatism which are as follows. Changing nature of truth. According to William James, the truth of an idea is not a stagnant property inherent in it. Truth happens to an idea. Truth is formed by its results. Problems as the motivation forces of truth. Emphasis on social and moral values. Emphasis on the principle of utility. William James has said it is because it is useful. Opposition to fixed ideas and values. They give great importance to manpower and they believe in the importance of activity. They do not have any faith in past. According to them, past is gone and dead. That's why they have more faith in present and future. They are opposite to social customs and traditions which are in no use of a human being. They have great faith in pluralism. And according to pragmatist principle, reality is still in the making. Now, when we talk about pragmatism in education, it has certain things to say that what is to be followed in education or what not to be followed in education. Pragmatism is closely related to modern education. The slogan of this ideology is change. Nothing is permanent here in the world, and no principle is true and valid for all times. Pragmatism holds firmly that any specific educational process cannot be regarded as final and useful for all times to come. It must change according to the changing needs and requirements of the changing society. This belief of pragmatism clearly shows that education is not the dynamic side of philosophy, but philosophy itself is evolved from education. In other words, it is education which gives birth to philosophy. According to John Dewey, philosophy is the theory of education in its most general sense. Now we talk about pragmatism and aims of education. Unlike idealism, the pragmatistic ideology does not believe in predetermined aims of life. Thus, there should be different aims of education for different children in different times and circumstances. According to John Dewey, education as such has no aim. Education is an abstract idea. More and more growth and creation of new values. According to J.S. Ross, the most general aim of education, according to pragmatism, is just creation of new values. The main task of education is to put the educand into position to develop values for himself. Now we talk about curriculum. What pragmatists have to say about curriculum, that which is to be followed or which is not to be followed. In the field of curriculum development, the following principles have been given by pragmatists. Number 1, principle of utility. Second, principle of interest. Third, principle of experience. And last, principle of integration. Now we will see what do pragmatists have to say about methods of teaching. They have simple methods of teaching and learning. According to pragmatists, principle of learning by doing, principle of integration, and all these methods, including project and heuristic methods, are also fine. When we talk about the role of teacher in pragmatism, they have to say that teacher works as a friend, as a philosopher, and as a guide to the children. As such, he needs two qualities. First, capacity to come into close contact of children, to know about their interests, and secondly, they have full understanding regarding the conditions and situations of changing society. Pragmatism and concept of discipline. Pragmatism condemns forced discipline and advocates social discipline based on child's interests, activities, and a sense of social responsibility. Hence, according to pragmatism, the school should provide purposeful experiences to the child in a free atmosphere so that he develops a sense of social responsibility and become a true and useful citizen for his nation. Last concept of pragmatism is about school. Pragmatists, unlike naturalistics, regard school as a social institution where the child gains real experiences of actual life, which develop in him social sense and a sense of duty towards the society and the nation. According to John Dewey, school is a miniature society where a child behaves according to his interests, aptitudes and capacities. The above discussion clearly and unequally lays down that in the field of creativity, dynamic activity, experiences and human development, pragmatism has contributed and has revolutionized the whole concept of education. In this way, this ideology has given a new direction and new purpose to all educational activities and programs. In the words of Russ, it is merely a stage in the development of a new idealism that will do full justice to reality and reconcile the practical and spiritual values and result in a culture which is the flower of efficiency. Thank you.